My parents gave my brother $600,000 for a house while calling me a failure. I cut them off completely and didn't look back. 2 years later, I've built something they never saw coming, while my golden child brother is facing criminal charges and bankruptcy. They're begging me to help him. My answer is no. I, 28F, have always been the disappointment in my family. My brother Kyle, 32M, has been the golden child since birth. He could do no wrong. I could do no right. That's just how it's always been. Growing up, the favoritism was obvious, but I thought it was normal. Kyle got the bigger bedroom, the newer clothes, the expensive sports equipment. His achievements were celebrated with family parties and social media posts. My achievements were met with "that's nice, honey," before the conversation shifted back to Kyle. Kyle got a full ride to college. My parents still gave him $2,000 a month for expenses. I got into a decent state school with partial scholarships. My parents said they couldn't afford to help me, so I worked 3 jobs and took out loans. Kyle graduated with a business degree and immediately got hired at my dad's friend's company. I graduated with a degree in finance and had to fight for every opportunity. But I told myself it was fine. I was independent. I was making my own way. I didn't need their approval or their money. Then, 2 years ago, everything came to a head. Kyle had been living in a trendy downtown apartment, working his cushy job, dating casually, living his best life. Meanwhile, I'd been grinding, working in corporate finance during the day, doing freelance financial consulting at night, saving every penny I could. I'd managed to save $40,000 for a down payment on a small condo. Nothing fancy, just a modest 2-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. I was so proud of myself. I'd done this completely on my own, with no help, while paying off student loans. I invited my parents to dinner to tell them the news. I thought maybe, finally, they'd be proud of me. I was wrong. "That's great, sweetie," my mom said, barely looking up from her phone. "Kyle just got promoted to senior analyst. They're giving him a corner office." "Oh, that's great for Kyle," I said. "But I'm buying my first property." I saved $40,000. $40,000?
My dad laughed.
That's it? That'll barely cover closing costs and fees. You're not going to get anything decent with that. It's enough for a down payment on a condo a condo? My mom wrinkled her nose. Not even a real house? Honey, that's not an investment. That's just throwing money away on a glorified apartment. I felt my excitement deflating. It's a start. I'm building equity, and you know what? My dad interrupted. "This is actually perfect timing. We've been meaning to talk to you both. Family meeting at our place this Sunday. Be there at 2 p.m. I should have known something was up. That Sunday, I arrived at my parents' house to find Kyle already there, looking smug. My parents had champagne out. Champagne. "What's the occasion?" I asked. My dad grinned. "We have an announcement. Your mother and I have decided to help Kyle buy a house." "Oh, that's nice. Are you giving him a loan, or?" "Not a loan," my mom said.
"A gift.
We're giving him $600,000. The room went silent except for the ringing in my ears. $600,000? I repeated. "Yes." My mom was beaming. "He's found a beautiful house in Westbrook Estates. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, gourmet kitchen, finished basement. It's perfect for when he settles down and has a family." Westbrook Estates. One of the most expensive neighborhoods in the state. "We're so proud of him," my dad added. "He's worked so hard, and he deserves this." I looked at Kyle. He was trying not to smile, but failing. $600,000, I said again, my voice flat. "We can afford it," my dad said, defensive now. "We've been saving for years. We want to help our son get started in life." "Your son?" I said. "What about your daughter?" My mom waved her hand dismissively. "You said you already have 40,000 saved. You're fine." "I'm fine? Kyle makes twice what I make, has no student loans, and you're giving him $600,000. I've been working myself to death just to save 40,000, and I'm fine?" "Don't be dramatic," my dad said. "Kyle's purchase is an investment. He's buying in a good neighborhood, a house that will appreciate. Your little condo is just, it's not the same. Because you're not helping me make it the same. Watch your tone, my mom snapped. We don't owe you anything. You're an adult. Kyle is an adult. We're choosing to help him because he's made better choices and positioned himself better. Better choices? He's had every advantage. You paid for his expenses through college, got him a job through connections, gave him money whenever he asked. And he used those advantages well, my dad said. That's called being smart. You've always been so stubborn, insisting on doing everything yourself. Well, this is what doing it yourself looks like. You get a condo. Kyle gets a house. This is unbelievable. You know what your problem is? My dad continued, standing up. You're jealous. You've always been jealous of Kyle. He's successful because he's driven and ambitious. You're stuck in middle management because you're just average. You're a hard worker, I'll give you that. But hard work without talent or intelligence only gets you so far. I stared at him. You think I'm not intelligent? I think you're fine. You're just not exceptional. Kyle is exceptional. It's not an insult, it's just reality. Some people are meant for greatness. Others are meant to be serviceable. Serviceable, I repeated. My mom jumped in, trying to smooth things over. What your father means is that you're perfectly adequate at what you do. You have a steady job, you're responsible, and that's wonderful. But Kyle has real potential. He could run a company someday. You'll probably just continue on as you are. And that's okay. The world needs average people too. Kyle, who had been silent this whole time, finally spoke. Maybe if you'd applied yourself more, networked better, been more strategic about your career, you'd be in a better position. This isn't mom and dad's fault. It's yours. Something in me cracked. You're right, I said calmly, standing up. This is my fault. My fault for expecting anything from you people. My fault for thinking my own parents might treat their children equally. My fault for hoping that maybe, just once, I'd be good enough. Now you're being dramatic again, my dad said, rolling his eyes. I'm being clear. You've made your priorities obvious. Kyle is the golden child, and I'm the disappointment. You've given him every advantage, every opportunity, $600,000, and you think I'm a failure because I only managed to save $40,000 despite every obstacle you put in my way. We didn't put obstacles. My mom started. You made me take out loans while funding his lifestyle. You got him a job while I had to fight for mine. You celebrate his mediocre accomplishments while ignoring my actual achievements. And now you're giving him more than $500,000 while telling me I'm serviceable and average. If you can't be happy for your brother, my dad began. I'm done. I picked up my purse. I'm done trying to earn your approval. I'm done being compared to Kyle. I'm done with all of you. Where are you going? My mom asked. Away from here. Permanently. You're overreacting, Kyle said, but he looked slightly nervous. Am I? You know what, Kyle? Enjoy your $600,000 house. I hope it's everything you've ever wanted. Because you're not getting anything else from me ever again. What's that supposed to mean? He asked. It means I'm done. Done with family dinners. Done with holidays. Done with pretending we're a family when you've made it clear I'm just the spare child who wasn't good enough. You're being ridiculous, my dad said.
Fine. Leave.
See if we care. You want to throw away your family over money? That shows exactly what kind of person you are. I laughed. It came out bitter.
No, Dad.
I'm walking away because you just told me I'm average, serviceable, and a failure. The money just made it clear that's what you've always thought. Goodbye. I walked out. Kyle called after me, but I didn't turn around. That was 2 years ago. I haven't spoken to any of them since. At first, they didn't take it seriously. My mom called a few times, leaving messages about family dinners I was being silly for missing. My dad sent a text saying I needed to get over myself. Kyle sent a message saying I was being immature and should apologize for ruining his celebration. I blocked all of them. I took the hurt, the anger, the absolute rage I felt, and I channeled it into my work. I was going to prove them wrong. I was going to show them exactly what average could do. I bought my condo with my $40,000 down payment. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Then I did something risky. I started a side business. I'd been doing freelance financial consulting for a few years, helping small business owners with their books, their taxes, their financial planning. I was good at it. Really good. People would refer their friends. I realized there was a real market for affordable, quality financial services for small businesses and individuals who couldn't afford the big firms. I registered an LLC, Sterling Financial Consulting. Just me, working nights and weekends out of my spare bedroom. I worked insane hours. My full-time job from 8 to 5, then consulting from 6 p.m. to midnight most nights. Weekends were full of client meetings and paperwork. I had no social life. No dating. Just work. But it grew. Word of mouth is powerful. Within 6 months, I had more clients than I could handle alone. I hired my first employee, a recent finance grad who was hungry and talented. Then another. After a year, I made a decision. I quit my corporate job and went full-time with my consulting business.
It was terrifying.
But my business was already generating more revenue than my salary, and I knew I could grow it faster if I focused entirely on it. I reinvested every penny back into the business. Better software, better marketing, more employees. I moved out of my spare bedroom and into a small office space. Then a bigger office space. I also started investing in real estate. I'd learned a lot about property investment from my clients, contractors, developers, property managers. I started small, buying a foreclosed duplex at auction, fixing it up and renting it out. The rental income covered the mortgage, and then some. I did it again. And again. I got good at spotting undervalued properties, negotiating deals, managing renovations. Within 18 months, I owned 5 rental properties. My consulting business was thriving too. We'd grown to 15 employees. We were getting high-profile clients. I was being invited to speak at industry conferences. A business magazine did a profile on me as a 30 under 30, rising entrepreneur. I didn't post about any of this on social media. I deleted Facebook, Instagram, all of it after cutting off my family. I wanted no connection to them. No way for them to track my life. But last month, everything came full circle. I was in the process of closing on my biggest deal yet, a small commercial building in an up-and-coming neighborhood. I was planning to renovate it and turn it into mixed-use space. Retail on the ground floor, office space above. The property was a steal at $700,000, and I'd already secured tenants for 80% of the space before even closing. I was at the closing, signing papers, when my phone started buzzing. An unknown number. I ignored it. It called again. And again. Finally, during a break, I checked my voicemail. It was my Aunt Lisa, my mom's sister. She'd always been kind to me, but we hadn't been close. Hi, honey, it's Aunt Lisa. I know you're not talking to your parents, and I understand why, but something's happened, and I think you need to know. Please call me back. I almost deleted it, but something in her voice made me call back. Oh, thank God, she said when she answered. I wasn't sure you'd call. What's going on? It's Kyle. He's in trouble. Serious trouble. What kind of trouble? He's been arrested. For embezzlement. I sat down. What? He's been stealing from his company for the past year and a half. They just figured it out. He's being charged with multiple felonies. Your parents are devastated. How much did he steal? Over $300,000. I let out a low whistle. How did I not see this coming? There's more. The house your parents bought him? He took out a second mortgage on it without telling them. He's defaulted on both mortgages. The bank is foreclosing. And he owes money to a lot of other people too. Credit cards, personal loans, some loan sharks apparently. Loan sharks. He has a gambling problem. Has for years apparently. Your parents had no idea. He's been hiding it. So the golden child isn't so golden after all. Your parents are in shock. They've already spent over $100,000 on his legal fees. They're trying to save the house, but they can't afford both the legal bills and the mortgage payments. And Kyle's fiancée left him when she found out. She'd been planning the wedding. Turns out he'd been using her credit cards too without her knowledge. I felt a strange numbness. This should feel like vindication. Instead, it just felt sad. Why are you telling me this? Because your parents want to talk to you. They need your help. My help. They're in financial trouble. Kyle's legal issues are draining them. They're talking about selling their house, dipping into retirement funds. Your mom is beside herself. She wants you to come home. Come home and what? Write them a check. I don't know what they expect, but they realize now that they made mistakes. With you. With Kyle. Your mom told me about what happened 2 years ago. She's ashamed of what they said to you. She should be. Will you at least talk to them?
No.
Sweetheart. Aunt Lisa, I appreciate you calling, but I walked away from them for a reason. They called me a failure. They told me I was average and serviceable. They gave my brother $600,000 and me nothing but criticism. Now they want my help because the golden child turned out to be a criminal? No. They're your parents. They stopped being my parents when they made it clear I'd never be good enough. I'm sorry Kyle destroyed his life. I'm sorry they're suffering. But I'm not their backup plan. I'm not the kid they can ignore until they need something. What should I tell them? Tell them I'm doing just fine. Better than fine. Tell them the average daughter is thriving. And tell them to ask Kyle for help. Oh wait, he's in jail. I hung up. My hands were shaking. The closing resumed. I signed the papers. I now owned a $700,000 commercial property with solid tenants and strong projected returns. I owned my consulting firm that was on track to clear $2 million in revenue this year. I owned 6 rental properties worth a combined $1.8 million. My personal net worth was hovering around $1.2 million after debts. At 28 years old, I'd built this entirely on my own. No family money. No $600,000 head start. Just me, my average intelligence, and my serviceable work ethic. I should have left it there. But that night, I was angry. I'd spent 2 years not thinking about them, building my life, and now they wanted back in because they needed something from me? I did something petty. I reactivated my Facebook account. I posted 3 things. First, a professional photo of me in front of my new commercial building with a caption, "Excited to announce the acquisition of Sterling Plaza. Thank you to everyone who believed in this vision." Second, a photo from the Business Magazine article about me with a caption, "Honored to be recognized in Industry Weekly's 30 Under 30. Here's to building something meaningful." Third, a throwback photo of my modest little condo with a caption, "2 years ago, I bought my first property with $40,000 I saved myself. Today, I closed on my 7th. Moral of the story, the only person who needs to believe in you is you." I didn't tag my family, didn't mention them, but I made the posts public. Then I deactivated Facebook again and went to bed. The next morning, I had 17 missed calls from my mother and a series of increasingly frantic texts from an unknown number that was clearly Kyle. I'd blocked his original number. Are you fucking kidding me? You bought a building? How do you have that kind of money? Mom and dad need help and you're buying buildings? Answer your fucking phone. This is so typical of you. Always selfish. I'm in jail and you're posting on Facebook about your success. You're a bitch. You've always been a bitch. Mom is crying. Dad had to take blood pressure medication. I hope you're happy. I blocked that number too. But I also got messages from old family friends, former classmates, even Aunt Lisa. I had no idea you were doing so well. Your building is gorgeous. Can I hire your firm? You're an inspiration. And from Aunt Lisa, your mother saw your posts. She's not handling it well. Your father locked himself in his office. Kyle called from jail screaming about how unfair this is. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm proud of you. 2 days later, my assistant told me I had a visitor. My mother. I hadn't seen her in 2 years. She looked older. Tired. She'd been crying. What are you doing here? I asked. You've been doing well. It wasn't a question. Yes. You own properties. You have a business. Yes. We didn't know.
You didn't ask.
You made it clear you weren't interested in my life. That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time you asked about my career before I cut you off? When's the last time you celebrated an achievement of mine? When's the last time you said you were proud of me? She was quiet. Why are you here, Mom? Kyle needs help. We need help. The legal fees are astronomical. We're going to lose the house. Your father's retirement fund is almost gone. We hoped. You hoped I'd write you a check. You clearly have money. More than we thought. If you could just loan us.
No.
You won't even consider it? Mom, 2 years ago, you and Dad told me I was average. Serviceable. A failure. You gave Kyle $600,000 and told me I didn't deserve the same because I wasn't good enough. Now Kyle stole money, gambled it away, destroyed his life, and you want me to fund his legal defense. He's your brother. He's a criminal who called me jealous and told me my failures were my own fault. While he was stealing $300,000, I was building a business. While he was gambling away your money, I was buying properties. While he was committing fraud, I was working 80-hour weeks to prove you wrong. And you know what? I did prove you wrong. I'm not average. I'm not serviceable. I'm exceptional. And I did it without your help or your approval. Please, my mother whispered. He's going to prison. They're saying 5 to 10 years. We can't afford a good attorney. A public defender won't. Actions have consequences. Kyle made his choices. Illegal choices. I'm not bankrolling his defense. What about us? What about your father and me? What about you? We're losing our home. We're old. We don't have time to rebuild our savings. We'll have nothing. For a moment, I felt something like sympathy. Then I remembered. You had $600,000. You chose to give it all to Kyle. You chose to call me a failure. You chose to cut me down and dismiss my accomplishments. You made your bed. Now lie in it. I said I was sorry. No, you didn't. You haven't once apologized. You've just explained why you need money. That's not the same thing. I'm apologizing now. I'm sorry we said those things. I'm sorry we gave Kyle money and not you. I'm sorry we didn't see what you were building. Please help us. Here's what I'll do, I said. I will give you the phone number for Sterling Financial Consulting. We help people in financial crisis develop plans to manage debt and rebuild. My team is excellent. I'll make sure you get our friends and family discount, 50% off. You're going to charge your own parents? You're not my parents. Parents support their children. Parents celebrate their children's successes. Parents don't call their children failures. You're just two people who share my DNA and who realized too late that they backed the wrong horse. How can you be so cold? I learned from the best. You were cold to me for 28 years. Turnabout is fair play. Your father will never forgive you for this. Good. Tell him his serviceable daughter is too busy being exceptional to care. She left crying. I went back to work. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. It was my father. You're really going to let your own brother go to prison with inadequate representation? No hello, no preamble.
Hi, Dad.
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. My business is thriving. I just closed a major deal, and I'm very happy. How are you? Cut the sarcasm. This is serious. You're right. It is serious. Kyle committed multiple felonies. That tends to have serious consequences. He made mistakes. Mistakes? Dad, he stole $300,000. That's not a mistake. That's a crime. Multiple crimes. He has a problem. He needs help, not prison. He should have gotten help before he committed fraud. That's not my responsibility. You have money. More than we realized. You could afford to help him. I could, but I won't.
Why?
To punish us? To prove some point?
No.
Because Kyle spent his entire life being handed everything while I had to fight for scraps. He got $600,000 as a gift. I got student loans and 3 jobs. He got connections and opportunities. I got told I was average. And despite all that, I succeeded. I built something real. Meanwhile, Kyle, with every advantage you could give him, became a criminal. Why would I reward that? He's your brother. He's a stranger who happens to share my last name. We haven't had a real relationship in years. You all made sure of that. You're being vindictive. I'm being practical. Kyle made his choices. He has to live with the consequences. And so do you. You invested everything in him. You gave him $600,000. You called me a failure. Well, your investment didn't pan out. That's not my problem. What about your mother and me? We're going to lose everything. You still have each other. And you'll still have more than I started with. I built my entire career from $40,000 and a dream while drowning in student loans. You have equity in a house, retirement accounts, Social Security. You'll be fine. How can you be so heartless? I'm not heartless. I'm just done lighting myself on fire to keep you warm. For 28 years, I tried to earn your love and approval. I worked harder than Kyle ever did. I achieved more than he ever did. But it was never enough. So I stopped trying. And I built a life I'm proud of. Without you. You're going to regret this. Am I? Because I sleep great at night. I love my job. I love my life. I'm proud of what I've built. Can you say the same?
Can Kyle?
He hung up on me. I blocked that number too. The next week was a blur. Kyle's court date was set. According to Aunt Lisa, who keeps me updated despite my protests, he's being offered a plea deal. Plead guilty to reduce charges, serve 3 to 5 years, pay restitution. My parents are selling their house to pay for Kyle's restitution and legal fees. They're moving into a small condo. My dad is coming out of retirement to work part-time. My mom is devastated. Kyle's defense is that he has a gambling addiction and should be in rehab, not prison. The prosecutor isn't buying it. Apparently, there's evidence he used the stolen money for personal expenses, not just gambling. New cars, expensive dinners, designer clothes. He was living large on stolen money. His ex-fiancée is suing him for the money he charged to her credit cards. He's being sued by the loan sharks too. Apparently that's a thing. He'll be in debt for decades, even after prison. Meanwhile, my business keeps growing. I'm in talks with a regional bank about opening additional offices in 3 new cities. I'm on track to have 30 employees by end of year. My real estate portfolio is expanding. I'm closing on 2 more properties next month. I got invited to speak at a major financial conference about building a business from scratch. I'm writing an article for a finance publication about bootstrapping a startup. I'm living my best life. And I feel no guilt about my family situation. Some relatives have reached out to tell me I'm heartless. That family helps family. That I should be the bigger person. But here's what I know. I spent my entire life being told I wasn't good enough. I was the backup child, the spare, the disappointment. And when I needed support, emotional, financial, any kind, I got nothing but criticism. I built everything I have through spite and determination. I'm not going to hand over my hard-earned money to bail out people who told me I was a failure. The cherry on top? Last week, I was having a site visit at my new commercial building. I was talking to the architect about the renovation plans when a car pulled up. A nice car. A really nice car. A man got out, mid-40s, well-dressed, confident. He introduced himself as Richard Chun, a commercial real estate developer. He'd heard about my purchase and wanted to discuss potential collaboration. We talked for an hour. He was impressed with my vision for the building. He asked about my background, my other properties, my business. I told him my story, the abbreviated, professional version. At the end, he handed me his card. I'm working on a major mixed-use development project. Retail, residential, office space. I'm looking for partners who understand the market and have vision. You strike me as someone who is both. Would you be interested in discussing an investment opportunity? The project he described would require a $500,000 investment from each partner. The projected returns over 10 years were substantial. We're talking millions. 2 years ago, I had $40,000 and a dream. Today, I'm being offered partnership in a multi-million-dollar development project. I'm meeting with him next week to discuss details. I called Aunt Lisa to tell her. She was thrilled. Then she said, "You should tell your parents. They'd be so proud." Would they? Or would they just see an opportunity to ask for more money? She was quiet. You're probably right. I'm proud of you, honey. Even if they can't see it, you've done something incredible. Thanks, Aunt Lisa. For what it's worth, I think you made the right choice. Cutting them off. Your parents need to face what they've done. The favoritism, the cruelty. And Kyle needs to face his consequences. You don't owe them anything.
She's right.
I don't owe them anything. I built this life from nothing. I took their rejection and their doubt, and I used it as fuel. Every time I wanted to quit, I remembered my dad calling me serviceable. Every time a deal fell through or a property needed more work than expected, I remembered my mom saying average people like it was an insult. And I kept going. So no, I won't help Kyle. I won't bail out my parents. I won't rescue people who spent decades making me feel worthless. I'll just keep building my empire. Keep proving them wrong. Keep being average and serviceable in ways that make me a millionaire while the golden child sits in prison. Success is the best revenge. And I'm living proof.